Hello everyone, this is Dharshan Krishna. Welcome back again. I would like to thank Cloud and Loud community as well as Mr. Vijayabalan Balakrishnan for pushing us to showcase our skills, what we have learned. So today I'm going to explain about the concept that I have learned, which is Docker. So let's get into the concept. Today I'm going to explain about the difference between virtualization and containerization. And before working on Dockers, we have to do configurations such as installation and downloading. And then we will see what is meant by Docker image, container, host, and Docker clients. And we will do some exercise on commands of the Dockers. And then we will see what is meant by multi-container architecture and the types of multi-container architecture and what is meant by customized image and the types of customized image that we can do. At the end, how we can upload a customized image in the Docker. So virtualization, this is a virtualization and this is containerization. In virtualization, we will be having a hardware as well as Windows operating system. Take this as your laptop, and inside this laptop, you will download a virtualization tool such as VMware, etc. In virtualization tool, you can use to install any applications only if you have operating system. So you will install operating systems such as Linux, Mac, Windows, or Ubuntu. This operating system is called as guest operating system. And over this operating system, will be using applications such as SQL and WordPress. But in containerization, you no need of guest operating system. There will be a hardware and Windows client, Windows host operating system. This can be your laptop. Above this laptop, you can install a containerization tool, which is known as Docker. In Dockers, you can use directly an application such as SQL and WordPress. Now, let's see how we can configure Docker in virtual machines. Let's use AWS. Let's create an instance. We'll say this as Docker and today's date. No, let us put Docker 1 and let's use Ubuntu T2 micro and let's create a new key pair named Docker. See, as .pem file is used to log in through git bash, and if you have .ppk, you have to log in through putty. Network setting will allow all the traffic. Yes, everything is set. So we will be installing Docker on this virtual machine. We can connect this virtual machine through git bash, or if you want to connect it through putty, you have to convert this into ppk file using puttygen, and then you have to upload the ppk file and you have to connect. There are three ways, and I have explained the two ways, and today I'm going to explain the third way, which is through AWS console. So let's connect by both git bash and AWS console, and later we'll work with AWS console. So go to the, let's connect, take a link for connecting this, connect SSH client, copy this command, excuse. Downloads. refresh. Docker container.pem. Right click, git bash, paste the command that you copied from AWS. Yes. So we are inside Ubuntu virtual machine, which we created using AWS. So as I said, we have to, before using Docker, we have to configure in order to install shell script and Docker. Go to the get.docker.com and copy the first two commands. No, we are still not in the virtual machine. Okay, let's create a virtual machine from the beginning. It's not accessible from here. So what we do is let's create a new virtual machine. Instances. We'll terminate this instance. It's of no use now. Launch instance. Docker. Let it be T2 micro. And we'll create a new key pair named doc. Then that should be in PAN file. So it is downloaded. Edit the security group. We'll give allow thanks for all the traffic. And then launch the instance. The instance is created. Go to the file. So we'll delete the previous PEM file. Git bash. We have to copy the command in order to connect to the virtual machine that we created. So this is running. Connect. SSH client. Copy this and paste it over there. Yes. Now we are in the Ubuntu machine. So before working on Dockers, we have to install the shell script and we have to install the Docker inside the virtual machine. Copy this and paste. Copy this and paste. It's getting downloading. Until it downloads. we'll get into the concept. So we have gone through difference between virtualization and containerization, and we are doing configuration of Dockers. And let's see what is Docker image, containers, host, and client. Before explaining about the image and containers, let's talk about host and client. So the host will be this system, the laptop that we are using on the virtual machine. So the virtual machine will be the host, which is Ubuntu virtual machine. And the client will be the terminal that we are going to use. So Git Bash will be the Docker client and the Docker host will be Ubuntu virtual machine. Docker image and Docker containers. Before downloading any applications, you should need supportive files and exe files. So for that, in order to have Docker containers for SQL, Tomcat, or Nginx, you need a supportive exe files. All those supportive exe files will be stored in the binary format in image. In order to get containers, you have to pull image before. So all these images can be found in Docker. Docker Hub. I want you to log in to the account because at the end we'll be using this account to upload an image. Previously, I have uploaded one image over here. So in the Docker app, you can get all the applications that you need, like Tomcat, WordPress, SQL, and Nginx. You can get all the applications that you need. So we have done with Docker images, and let's get into the exercises of commands. So we are talking about Docker images and containers from long time. Let's do some commands. So before writing any commands in Docker, you should use the name Docker and you should work on the commands. So let's see how many images are there with us. So Docker image list, which is ls. Oh, permission denied because we should switch to the root user before. So Docker image ls, no images, Docker container ls. So let's run an image. Let's take an image from the Docker Hub. WordPress. Let's take this. Copy this command, Docker pull WordPress. Before working on containers, you have to download the image, which is pull the image. Docker pull WordPress. You can copy and paste the command, but I'm typing here. So the WordPress binary files are pulled in order to download the containers, to run the containers. After pulling the image, we have to run the container. In order to run the container, we have to use command. So the command starts from Docker and we have to run the container. So we will give the name of the container as container 1 and this WordPress as port. Let's give any port number 1234/8080. 3480. So Docker run, name of the container and the port, then the image name, which is WordPress. It's getting downloading. It takes more time. So in order to not to wait for these kind of log messages, we have a option named detached mode. We'll use that in the future. Before it downloads, let's see, is there any other concepts to explain the theory concepts? Multi-container architecture. I'll explain you when this comes. So it takes more time. So as I said, in order to not to waste time in waiting for logs, we can use detached mode. So let's create another image. And along with this, there is a easy technique. You can even download a container directly, even if you don't pull an image. So we have pulled an image, Docker image ls, WordPress, Docker container ls. There is still downloading the container one of the image. So let's delete an image now, and I would like to show you another method. Docker to delete a Docker image, which is Docker image RMI, Docker image, Docker RMI forcefully, and the name of the Docker image is WordPress. So WordPress is deleted. Let's see. Docker image ls, no images. Docker container ls, no containers. So in order to reduce wait time by waiting for the log messages, and in order to download the container without pulling an image, let's see how Docker run, give the name of the container as container word example, container name as word example, and let us keep this in the detached mode. And I would like to open the port 4567, and the port number for the WordPress is, we can even find that in Google. Port for WordPress, which is 80. And name of the image. So done. As I said, it didn't take more time. Let's see whether it is downloaded or not. copy the public IP address of the instance that we created. And the port that we have given is 4567 and paste it over here. So you can see the WordPress. So in this virtual machine, over the Docker, we have installed a WordPress container. If you want to remove a container, it is similar to removing the image. Docker remove container name as the name of the container that we have given is word example. Oh, Docker remove forcefully word example. So the word example is deleted. We have to forcefully remove all this. So let's check whether we have any images or containers now. There will be one image because we have not removed an image. So let's remove the image also. Docker RMI remove forcefully WordPress. It is deleted. And there will be no Docker container also. Yes. So we got to know how to download an image, how to run the container, how to remove the container, how to start and to stop the container. I'll explain you how to stop the container when we use for the other examples. Let's install Tomcat. Okay. So for the Tomcat, Docker run name, Docker run name. Let's give the name for this as container1. For the Tomcat, you need the port. So before port, let us put this for the detached mode. And there is two types of porting. This is manual porting. So I'll give 7890 80 80. If you don't know the name, you can go to the Docker Hub and put Tomcat. You will get Tomcat. The name of the image is Tomcat. So you can pull this and then you can run, or you can run it directly so that it is automatically pulled. So let's see whether it is downloaded or not. Docker and no image. Yeah, container ls. There is no container. Why? Tomcat. Yeah, there is a Tomcat image. So now we will use to download Ubuntu operating system. So we can download applications as well as operating systems, and we can install download applications inside the operating system, which is used as a containers. So Docker run name operating system 1, and the Ubuntu will be in the interactive terminal. Name of the image is Ubuntu. So it is downloading automatically, and it is downloaded. Let's see. Docker image ls. Oh, Docker. Why? Oh, yes. So we are inside the Ubuntu. Yeah, you can see this. So we are on the virtual machine. We are still on the virtual machine. When you install and download, you will be inside the it will be inside the Ubuntu operating system. If you want to come out, just enter exit. So you will be coming out from the container to the virtual machine. In order to stop the container, docker stop and name of the container that you want to stop. So let's stop the Ubuntu operating system container. What did we give the name for the operating system? OS1. Yeah, docker stop OS1. And OS1 is stopped. Docker image ls. There are two images. Docker container ls. Yeah, there. So the image and the container are downloaded automatically. So let's remove everything. Docker remove forcefully all the images. Images named as Tomcat and Ubuntu. Oh, Tomcat and Ubuntu. So it is deleted. Tomcat is deleted. Docker image ls. Let's check. So Tomcat is still there. Docker remove image forcefully, which is Tomcat. So Tomcat is also deleted along with its containers. So we have been exercising on this. Let's see another concepts. So we have explained ports. Oh yeah, I need to explain about dynamic porting. So let's run WordPress again. Name WordPress automatic porting. I say this as automatic porting because I remember this as this automatic porting. So I give a name for the container and I want to have this in detached mode. For the automatic porting, we'll be using capital P, and you don't want to mention the IP address. In manual porting, we have mentioned the IP address for WordPress. I can show you the example. Yeah, in manual porting, we are mentioning port as small p with the port number, and the name of the image is WordPress. So it is downloaded. There is a Docker container named WordPress. There is a Docker image named WordPress. And so in this, we were knowing what is the port for, because we were mentioning the port. Where is the WordPress? We were mentioning the port. In order to know the port for this automatic porting, we have a command named docker port, and the name of the container is docker. The name of the container is WordPress automatic porting. WordPress automatic porting. Take this 32678 and we'll remove the WordPress that we did. 32678. Remember this number. 32768. Sorry. 32768. Public IP of this virtual machine. 32768. We saw this, right? So we learned automatic and manual porting, detached mode, and installing operating systems, installing applications. So let's get into the concept multi-container architecture. Till now, we got to know only installing SQL and WordPress individually. So in this method, I want to install SQL and then I want to link that to an WordPress. I have a company. So for my company, if anyone logins through the WordPress and the data should go into the SQL. So that I want to link WordPress to the SQL. So I want to link WordPress to the SQL. Yeah, we can do this. Link WordPress to the SQL through SQL to the WordPress. Before explaining I can explain you about SQL and their environmental variable during this example itself. So now what we are going to do is we are creating multi-container architecture. This can be created using two methods. First method is linking. As I said, linking SQL database to the WordPress and Docker Compose, which is of type YAML file. So let's get into the linking of multi-container architecture. Yeah, as I said, let's create an SQL container, Docker run name. Let's give name for this container as database 1. And I need this in detached mode. And this is a new concept, which is an environmental variable. So when you log into the SQL, when you open the SQL, you need a login password. So in order to give any parameters, we use environmental variable in Docker MySQL root password. This will be same every time. And I would like to give this as 9945. And the image name is MySQL version. It's a 5, version 5. The new image as well as container is created. Let's check once. Yes, MySQL. We'll delete the WordPress, Docker, remove, hopefully WordPress. Okay, let's remove. It's removed and it is being removing. It's MySQL. So we have created SQL. Let's get inside the SQL. Control. Still attaching. It takes more time to attach. Let's connect it again. As I said, we can connect through git bash by taking the ssh command and then going to the place where file present, git bash, and paste. So we are here. Sudo switch to the root user. Docker. MySQL. MySQL. So in order to work on SQL, we need a bash script. So let's execute the commands in bash terminal. Execute, which is an interactive terminal for the database 1. Database 1 bash. So we are inside the bash terminal. MySQL username is root for default, and the password, we have to enter the password, which is 9945 that I mentioned while creating an image. So we are inside SQL. Exit. Come out from the bash terminal. Control PQ to come out from the bash terminal. So we are in the virtual machine. As I said, let's create a WordPress terminal and link the SQL. Docker run name. For the database, we are given db1, and for this, we'll give web1. So my website will be done using WordPress. So web1, Docker run web1, name web1, which should be in detached mode. And the porting, I'll give manual porting, which will be 7890. And the port for the WordPress is 80. And then link. So we have to link the database db1, and we'll give the name for the link as linking between database and WordPress. And the name of the image for this is WordPress. Oh, Docker run name. We have done mistake somewhere. Let's see. Is correct. Let's run it again. Command not found. Docker requires at least one argument. We have given the argument. Okay, create and run a new container for an image. Let's create a new container. The virtual machine, it's lagging. So let's try another way to connect to the virtual machine. EC2 instance connect. So when you go into the instance, Docker for container, connect, connect, EC2 instance connect and connect. So you will be inside the Docker container using AWS. Switch user. So let's remove everything. Before removing, let's see what are the containers that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 containers. Okay, to remove, Docker remove forcefully, and I'll use another command inside Docker ps aq. So first it will list all the containers, and then it is taken as input to remove all the containers. Everything is removed. So let's see Docker container ls. There is nothing. Docker image ls. Okay, Docker image, Docker remove image forcefully. Let's take through ID. Copy, paste. Docker remove image forcefully MySQL. So you can take either name or, okay, it's not taking name, either name or image ID. Copy, paste. So it is deleted. Let's see, do we have anything? Docker image ls? No. Docker container ls? No. So let's start with a database. Docker run name database1. I'll give the name for this as a database1, and detached mode environmental variable. The parameter is MySQL. Root password should be 9945, and the image name is MySQL file. The database is installed. Let it be running in the background. So enter Control P Q. And let's check whether it is installed or not. Before checking, we will link it. So Docker run name database1. No, we have created MySQL database, and we are creating a WordPress named website1, which is web1 for my web application, and it will be in detached mode. For web WordPress, we need port, and I would like to give port number as 345680, and then I will link this. I will link the database1 which I have created, and I will give name for the linking between. I will give the name as database linking between database1 and website1. This will be the name between the link which is between the website database and WordPress. And the name of the image is WordPress. Oh, I wanted to use Docker, but I've used Devops-Enthusiast. That's the mistake. Oh, again. Boom. So now the WordPress is linked with the database. This is one method to have a multi-container architecture. And as I said, the second method is Docker Compose. Docker Compose is used to provide a multi-containers using YAML file. So we have to create a YAML file and then we have to run that YAML file. In order to do that, let's create. Before creating, we have to install Docker Compose. So we are using Ubuntu virtual machine. So for that, we need Docker Compose. Where is it? There is no link for this. I was expecting the command to download it directly. So anyhow, I have a command. I'll share this in the description. So we have to install the command first. Paste it here. Install Docker Compose. After installing, we should change the permission for the Docker Compose in order to execute. I'll share this code in the description. Don't worry about this. So let's check the version. Version 1.24. So now we have installed Docker Compose. As I said, Docker Compose is a YAML file. We have to create a file. So let's say Docker Compose dot YAML. Docker Compose dot YAML file. Oh, we have to create. Okay. Before creating, even Docker Compose is a multi-container architecture. In the link, what we did is we created a database and then we created a WordPress. Then we linked database to the WordPress through the two different commands. In YAML file, we can do it in one single file. So let's create Docker Compose .yml. Insert I. Yes. We can give version of the Docker Compose if needed, which is 3. And the service. Inside the services, so I am going to create a first container named database, which is database 2. So we have created database 1 and web 1, DB1 and web 1 before. So we use DB2 and web 2. So the name of the container is DB2 image is MySQL and the version is 5. Environment variable is MySQL root password is 9945. And we have created this. Let's create an app server, which is web2. So for this, the image is downloaded from WordPress, and the port should be opened for this. Port is, let's say, 7689, and we have to link this links, which is to the database 1, and the name that I'm going to give, database 2, and the name that I'm going to give is linkage 2. Let's see whether this is correct YAML file or not. In order to check whether YAML script that we have written is correct or not, go to the YAML validator and paste it over here. No. Let's copy and paste. So line 1. So I have to give a space for line 1. This is not mentioned, not necessary, the version, but even though it's fine. Insert. Is this perfect? Yes, we'll check that again. Yes, sir. So escape and save. To save the file, WQ, save and quit. So after creating, we have to run. For this, Docker compose in detached mode. And in order to run this, we have to use up. Docker compose up. Docker compose up in detached mode. Links must be mapping, not a string. Okay. Vim Docker compose YAML. Oh yeah, everything is correct. Docker compose up. This must be mapping, not an array. Again, okay. Version services. So this is the first container. And this is the second container image puts. Yeah. So YAML file considers indentation. Escape WQ to save and quit. So now it should work. Why? Services web to link contains invalid type. It should be okay. Krishna. Mhm. So even if we get more errors, we can learn a lot. Let's try again and again and again. Type because web2 links contains an invalid type. So there is an issue on links. Okay, at least this time. Yes. So we have created database one and database and web at a single file. So this is a multi-container architecture. So till now we learned difference between virtualization and containerization and configurations before doing anything on Dockers. And we got to know what is meant by image, containers, host, and client. And we have done so many commands, so many errors too, but we will be learning a lot as we get more errors. And then link Docker compose done. So let's get into the customized image. Customized image. Till now, we are installing. Where is the Docker app? This is not required. This is not required. This is also not required. Yeah. Till now, we are installing images which is present in the Docker Hub. So we can create an images and we can upload that in the Docker Hub. Let's see how. Sorry. So we can create an image in two ways. One is Docker file and the other one is commit command. So when we upload, we use Docker file. No, when we upload, we use commit command. So first we will see how Docker file can be used and later we use commit command. So Docker file, it is a simple text file which can be used to create containers using keywords. So let's create a Docker file as win Docker file. And before doing anything in this file, I want to explain you this. So from where we are installing or from which container that we are going to install should be mentioned in from. Let's take Ubuntu. From Ubuntu. And who is maintaining this? Maintainer. I'll give my name. And then when you install this container, I want to run a commands. So for that, run apt get update, and this should be updated every time. Apt get install yes default JDK. I'm going to install inside this Ubuntu. I'm going to install Java. So for that, I need Java development kit, Jenkins. Jenkins download. I need the stable version of WAR file. Chrome. No. Copy this link address. That's enough. And paste it over here. Java jar Jenkins star var. And then entry point. Whenever it is installed, I need this command to be executed. Java jar Jenkins .var. Yes. Let's see whether it works or not. So for this Docker build, I'm going to give a tag name as my first customized image, or else customized image 1. Custom image 1. There will be an error, maybe. Okay. Docker build X. Okay, user Docker build X path URL. So there is build X path, Docker build X build options. Let's get into the command again. Custom Docker file, and then we have added HTTP to download, and this should be in the root folder. So this escape WQ. Again, there is some issue. Or else let's take a simple example. So from Ubuntu, I'm going to install a Ubuntu container, and I will be maintaining this. So my name will be given as Dharshan, and I'll explain this later. Let's use a simple example for your understanding. So add is used to download the application, which is Jenkins, and entry point is whenever you download the application, you have to run the command, which is similar to run. but this is when the container is created. So you will be, let's install, instead of JDK, let's install Git and try. Docker build. Okay. So there is one error here. Docker build custom image 1. Docker build x build requires exactly one argument. So what should be that argument? Hmm. Usage. Let's see. Docker build x build help. Tag string. Oh yes. So after building, it should be in the root user. So we have created an image. We have created an Ubuntu image, and then we have installed Git inside that image. So whenever you use image that I created, so you'll be getting Git as free. So let's see Docker image ls. You can see this is my custom image, which is created 17 seconds ago. So let's check whether Git is installed in this or not. Docker run. I will give name this as custom check for custom image 1, and then that should be an interactive terminal, and it should be in detached mode 2, and the name of the image that I created, custom image 1. So it is created. Docker attach custom check. So I am in my container. Let's see whether it is downloaded or not. Git version. You can see Git version which is present inside the container of the image that I created. So we learned how to create a multi-container architecture, and we learned how to create our own customized image using Docker file. So now we learn how we can create a container using commit command and install that in, upload that in Docker Hub. Before that, we will create a file. No, we'll create another container, and then we will do. So before that, we will remove all the containers. Docker container ls. Oh, we are still in the container that I created, the custom image. Exit. So let's remove everything. Docker ps aq. Docker image ls. Docker remove image. So let's remove everything at a time. Copy, paste, space, copy, paste, space, copy, and paste. I think the custom image that I created is still there. No. So there is no Docker images, Docker containers. We learned how to create a container. So now we learn how we can create our own image and upload that in Docker Hub so that anyone can access the image that I created. Let's create an image. To create an image, we take the same example for this as this. We'll create a SQL container and our press container, and we will link these both. To do that, Docker run So let's try to create a container using Docker Compose and then upload using commit command. Okay. For this Docker, we should create a Docker file. We will remove the Docker file which is present. Ls, there is no Docker file. So we'll create a new Docker file. Wait. So Docker Compose, we are using Docker Compose. Then Docker Compose .yaml. So as I said, we will be using a version 3 Docker Compose, and the services that we are going to download is database and web server. Database server is MySQL, and this is the password that we are going to give. And then the web server is WordPress. The port is 7689, and the link between these two is named as linkage2. To run this, Docker compose up in detached mode. Less container ID image, and the name is web2 and database2. Ubuntu database2, Ubuntu web2, Docker image ls. So these two are created and installed. Let's get into the Docker database, no, Docker web base to Docker attach Ubuntu, Docker attach ID. It takes more time, or else anyhow we have created a containers. Flags again. Switch to the root user. Okay. So let's convert these containers as an image. So let's take both Docker. Before that, I would like to show the images that I created. So there is only one image, Docker commit. This is another option to make it as an image as well as upload that in the Docker Hub. For this, commit command, use the name of the container that you want to change, which is Ubuntu Web 2. Or else let's try with the container ID. Paste. This is the first time that I'm using the container ID. Let's see whether it works or not. Space. No space. Space. The username is Dharshan 9945. Slash. You can give whatever you want. The image name as Docker image. Docker custom image. So this is done as an image. Docker image ls Dharshan 9945 Docker custom image. So this is done as a custom image, and let's push this custom image inside the Docker Hub. In order to push, Docker push the image name, which is this. Paste. It's denied. Why? Image. Yes, sir. Let's try that again. Yeah. These errors makes us to improve us. Okay. Let's see. Let us the push request to the repository. So it is pushing requested access to the resources denied. Okay. So we have to log in, I guess. Docker log in to the Docker using this virtual instance version 9945. Okay, login succeeded. So let's push. Who? So the image, this is my own image. If anyone wants to use this image, just go to the Docker. Let's refresh it. See, Docker custom image. Go to the Docker and it is public and you can use. In order to use, just enter Docker custom image. You have to give the name as well. Okay, we have to give, I think we have to pay for this, I guess. Yes, it is public. If anyone wants to use this image, then you have to make use of this. Docker pull, copy this and then paste it. Let's try. Yeah. See this downloaded, which is already exist. So let's remove all the image. Okay, Docker remove this. Paste. Hey, copy, paste, space. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, Docker remove forcefully. It is deleted. So we have deleted the Docker custom image that was inside our virtual machine. And let's try to install that using Docker Hub, my repository, Docker custom image. Paste. It is downloaded. Docker remove forcefully inside this Docker everything. Everything is coming. Docker image ls docker remove image forcefully. Copy. Hey, paste. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. So there will be no images. Copy this. Paste it over here. And it is downloaded. So this is what I have learned about the Dockers. If you have any more doubts, you please let me know in the comment section so that even I can learn, research, and then share that with you. Let's share our knowledge. Thank you for your time and thank you so much.